Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers most to blame for brutal wild card loss to Ravens. The Pittsburgh Steelers looked like a strong AFC contender at 10-3 overall with 4 regular season games left. The Baltimore Ravens, though, capped another letdown finish for the Steelers on Saturday. Pittsburgh's 28-14 defeat at M&T Bank Stadium delivered the Steelers' 5th consecutive loss. Even worse for Mike Tomlin, Russell Wilson, and company, the franchise still hasn't won a playoff game since the 2016 season. So who deserves the blame for the latest postseason debacle? Time to see if Tomlin, Wilson, or other Steelers should take accountability for this latest defeat. Tomlin shared this admission post-game that didn't sit well with Pittsburgh fans. The Steelers' head coach described Lamar Jackson as the X factor who wore down his team. But this is a long-time defensive coach admitting this. Let alone a head coach known for producing elite pass rushes. And Tomlin was facing Jackson for the 3rd time this season, but still failed to adjust his plan of attack versus the Ravens All-Pro. Tomlin has a new problem on his hands. The Super Bowl winning head coach is getting outcoached and outschemed come playoff time. Rival coach John Harbaugh is the latest to one-up him. Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills outsmarted Tomlin 1 year ago. Even 3-time Super Bowl champ Andy Reid has created more aggressive plans compared to Tomlin. The head coach of 18 seasons is credited for consistently winning during the regular season. But Tomlin is continuing to lose his grip on elite status among the NFL head coaching fraternity. Tomlin must take a new hard look in the mirror and figure out how to recapture his playoff mojo. It may need to come in the form of aggressive decision-making, from retooling his staff to figuring out his 2025 roster. This falls onto Tomlin and defensive coordinator Teryl Austin. Baltimore gashed and shredded this run defense with an astonishing 299 rushing yards. They still allowed this output against an offense they game plan against twice a year. All the more reason why the blame lands on the desk of Austin than Tomlin. The Steelers even brought the league's 6th best run defense over to the Ravens' house, and still couldn't contain Baltimore. Steelers, Tomlin end with 5-game skid, another early exit. Unable to reverse the negative momentum of a late-season fade, the Pittsburgh Steelers disappeared from the playoffs with a humbling loss to their fiercest rival. Pittsburgh was eliminated by the Baltimore Ravens, who rolled to a 28-14 victory on Saturday night. The Steelers closed the season with 5 straight losses. Pittsburgh's strength this season was its defense. The unit was consistently effective in shutting down the run and notched 33 takeaways, tied for the NFL lead. In this game, however, the Steelers were trampled by star running back Derrick Henry and quarterback Lamar Jackson. Henry ran for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jackson carried for 81 yards and also threw a pair of TD passes. Pittsburgh failed to force a turnover, leaving its offense a long way to go on virtually every possession. The Steelers were 10-3 and atop the AFC North on December 8 after trouncing Cleveland at home, but that would be their final win. Pittsburgh's final month of the regular season included a 34-17 loss in Baltimore that propelled the Ravens toward the division crown and a home game to start the playoffs. The Steelers, 10-8, also lost to Philadelphia, Kansas City, and finally, at home against a Cincinnati team that came in with an 8-8 record. Pittsburgh has never had a losing record in coach Mike Tomlin's 18 seasons and has reached the playoffs a dozen times under his direction. Although both streaks continued in 2024-25, it's unlikely Tomlin or Steelers fans will look back on this chapter with any sense of pride. Just as disheartening, the Steelers have lost 6 consecutive postseason games since an 18-16 upset of the Chiefs in January 2017. It's been one and done for Pittsburgh over its last 5 trips to the playoffs, and Tomlin is still striving for his first Super Bowl win since the 2008 season. Eager for a fresh start after ending the regular season with a thud, the Steelers stumbled from the outset on a chilly night in Baltimore. After Pittsburgh's opening possession ended with a punt, Baltimore, 13-5, covered 95 yards in 13 plays for a 7-0 lead on a touchdown pass by Jackson to Rashad Bateman. Another 3-and-out followed for the Steelers, who were outgained 128-27 in the first quarter. It soon got worse for Pittsburgh. After another Steelers punt, Baltimore put together an 85-yard drive on 13 plays, all of them runs, to go up 14-0. Just before the half, the Ravens applied another slap in the face to the reeling Steelers. Tomlin called a timeout with 1:08 remaining in hopes of getting the ball back as Baltimore faced a third down on its own 17. The move backfired. The Ravens zipped downfield and went up 21-0 on Jackson's TD pass to Justice Hill with 2 seconds left. Pittsburgh finally got into the end zone with a third-quarter touchdown pass from Russell Wilson to Van Jefferson, but Baltimore promptly answered with a 70-yard drive, ending with a 44-yard run by Henry. Jimmy Johnson proposes a radical idea for the Steelers and Cowboys: swap coaches. Fans of the Cowboys and Steelers will finish the 2024 NFL campaign quite dissatisfied with their respective squads, with Pittsburgh crashing out in the wild card round after a miserable end to the regular season, while America's team missed the playoffs altogether. With this shared frustration, NASCAR legend Jimmy Johnson proposed a radical proposal for two of the NFL's most storied franchises during an appearance on the Fox NFL Sunday studio show ahead of the afternoon's playoff action. "Things are stale in Pittsburgh. Things are stale in Dallas," Johnson said. "How about a coaching swap? Mike McCarthy is a Pittsburgh guy. Let him go to the Steelers. Let Mike Tomlin go to the Cowboys. Both franchises would be excited." Tomlin has had the opportunity to grow more stale in the eyes of disgruntled Pittsburgh fans, wrapping up his 18th season in the Steel City with a non-competitive 28-14 playoff defeat against Baltimore Saturday. The Virginian native achieved remarkable early success with the Steelers, making 2 Super Bowl appearances in his first 4 seasons, and has remarkably managed to finish without a single losing season in nearly 2 decades. However, Tomlin's early playoff triumphs quickly inverted, with the veteran head coach's lack of postseason success now a black mark on his resume. The Steelers have now lost in the wild card round in consecutive seasons and are without a playoff win since 2016. Dallas Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy, meanwhile, has been at the helm for just 5 seasons but already begins to face similar seasons. The longtime Green Bay coach arrived in Dallas ahead of the 2020 campaign, and despite winning 12 games in each season between 2021 to 2023, McCarthy managed to win just 1 playoff game. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike McCarthy? Leave your opinion in the comments.